son have been locked in that room for long. 7 years with the mother, 5 years for the son. The boy hasn't left the room since he was born. A bad guy locked them down. The naive boy never knew that life was a struggle. 7 years ago, the mom was 17. She was kidnapped and locked in, then she bore the boy. His hair is as long as a girl's hair. Because there's no scissors. The bad guy was afraid to be attacked. Years ago, the woman hit him with a tube. But she was counter-attacked. Then, he also threw the toilet cover away. He often came in the evening to bring foods, water and necessary things. Then he satisfied his desire. Whenever he came, the mom locked the boy in a wardrobe to avoid him from seeing bad things. Every day, she taught him to read and write. She never told him about their real life. She wanted to protect him. Every morning, they screamed in front of the ventilator. They hoped someone could hear that. But this room was well soundproof. They never made it. That day, the guy came but he didn't bring vitamin to the boy. He said vitamin was expensive and no use, but for the boy who ate bread every day, vitamin was very important. While talking, the mother knew that the guy lost his job for 6 months. He ran out of money. He suddenly got mad and nearly hit the mother. That evening, the boy secretly got out of the wardrobe, stared at the guy. The guy woke up. He wanted to touch the boy, but the mother woke up. She hurriedly stopped the man from touching her son. The guy held the mother with a pillow. She wanted to make her breathless. After a while, he let go of her, then left. The next day, they realized the electricity was cut off. They didn't know because the guy deliberately cut it off or he hadn't paid for fee yet. Without heater, the room was so cold. The mother tried to open the iron door but it was no use. They had no choice but to wear as many clothes as possible. That day, the mother came up with a way. She told her son about the outside world. She told how she was cheated and locked in here. Unexpectedly, the boy got angry and quarreled with her.
I don't believe in your sticky world!
He cried. That's right, the world existing in his mind was destroyed by his relatives. It would be the truth to say he collapsed. The mother gave up advising him. She was broken, huddled herself up in the blanket. She said nothing. The boy played by himself. He held a cup, seeing through the cup, he seemed to understand. There's another world outside the room. He asked his mother what's outside. She felt consoled and told her son about the outside world. She provoked his curiosity, then told him a plan. She wanted the boy to pretend to be ill, so the guy would take him out for treatment. Then the boy would ask for help. To pretend to be ill, the mother put a hot towel on his forehead, which heated him. Then she made him trough up on bed. Then she put SOS letter into his pocket, told him to give it to someone. The guy showed up shortly. The mother told him about the boy's illness. The guy touched his forehead. It's really hot. He said he would bring tablets in the evening. The mother didn't agree. She asked to take him to the hospital. The bad guy didn't agree. They quarreled. The bad guy left. She couldn't imagine he was rude like that. This plan had failed. She cried for the whole life, but she came up with another plan. That was to fake the boy's death. The guy would have to bury the boy outside. On the way, the boy would find a chance to escape. Although the boy objected to it, the mother stuck to it. She taught him how to hide in the basement, how to escape, how to get off the car. The boy made it out and agreed with the plan. They hugged each other for the last time. Then the door was opened. The mother rolled the boy into a carpet. The guy appeared. She burst into tears, and told that the boy was dead. The guy was very surprised, but he seemed to believe that he wanted to see the boy. But the mother hit him. He took back his hand. He decided to take the boy out. The mother asked not to bury the boy in the garden, because she could felt his soul. The guy agreed. His mind was a mess. He could only agree with the mother. Then he took the boy out. Before that, the mother looked at the boy, signaled him that everything depended on him. That was the first time he was out, so he was tense. His breath was nearly heard. Luckily he then held his breath, so the bad guy didn't catch. The boy was carried on a truck. He was scared, but he remembered the plan. He knew it was time he moved. The truck stopped. He got out of the carpet. Then he was amazed to see the sky and the world. His mother told the truth. He stood up, observed around. Full of new things amazed him. Life turned out to be like that. It must have freedom. He didn't dare to jump out. His mother told that only jump when the truck has stopped. Finally the truck stopped. He was about to jump, but the guy turned up. He caught the boy, and stopped. The boy jumped. He ran and fell many times. He was to get caught. At that moment, the boy saw a man walking with a dog. The bad guy caught him. The passerby intended to apologize, but he felt that guy was strange. He forced the boy. The boy cried and screamed.
Phone someone?
He held the piece of paper, but the bad guy took it. He hugged the boy. The passerby threatened to call the police. The bad guy panicked. He left the boy and drove away. The boy fell, said nothing. It started to rain. The passerby was still with the boy. He warmed him with a blanket until the police came. That was a gentle policewoman. The policewoman asked the boy, but he couldn't say. He still panicked. She asked many times, then asked about his mother. The boy said yes, but he didn't remember her name and didn't know where she was. The policewoman patiently asked, "How does your room look like? Is there any window? How does sunlight shine?" The boy finally told her that room is short-lived. The woman asked, "How did you jump out of the truck?" The boy said, "Mom said only jump when the truck has stopped, but he only jumped in the third time it stopped." By those information, the policewoman knew those 3 times were because of red light. She reported to the police station. They started to search for that short-lived room. After a time, they stopped at a house. The boy felt familiar. He looked through the window, then he shouted.
Mom!
Then he saw a familiar shadow. That was his mom. She opened the car door. They hugged each other and burst into tears. They underwent lots of things. And in the end, they are free after 7 years locked down. They are finally let go of. Not long after, the bad guy was arrested. Everything seemed okay, but life was full of troubles. The boy was 5 on his first time being outside. He didn't adapt to the world yet. He didn't dare to talk to anyone, only talk to his mother and she would tell someone else. His grandma wanted to cut his hair but he didn't agree. He said that was his power. Everyone felt sympathetic. They always treat him well so he would be more open-minded. That day, Grandpa discovered the boy secretly looking at him. He pretended to self-talk to lure the boy and let him eat delicious oat. The boy started to talk.
You really have a dog?
I do.
He was more open-minded, but the mother was depressed. She easily got angry. Seeing old pictures, old people, she often felt irritated because she didn't make out why those bad things happened to her. Sometimes, the boy used phone and made noise which bothered her. She would send the boy away. The grandma gave some advice but she objected seriously. She blamed Grandma for her being kidnapped. Grandma taught her to be a good person but that kindness did harm to her. Then, the newspaper came. The MC deliberately asked, "Have you ever wanted to suicide? When your son grow up, will you tell him about his father? And, when the boy was born, why didn't you leave it at the hospital? So he would have been free. Why didn't you sacrifice?" That question hurt her at heart. Feeling of guilt dominated her and she was depressed. That night, she killed herself by drugs. Hearing mother throwing up, the boy came into the restroom and saw his mother on the ground. He screamed until grandparents came, and took her to the hospital. Since then, the mother was forced to stay in the hospital for mental treatment. That was the first time the boy was away from mom. He tried to be independent. Gradually, with family love, the boy could talk to strangers. That day, Grandpa brought home a dog. The boy was very excited. He played with it all day, but he always missed mom. When he saw his mother of the past, he was deep in thought. He tried to understand her sufferings. That day, he looked for Grandma and asked her to cut his hair. He thought his hair was power, so he wanted to give hair to mom. Grandma was happy to help him and wash his hair, dry his hair. The boy suddenly said,
I love you, Grandma.
She heard it and cried.
I love you too, Jack.
Days after, a boy came and asked the boy out to play. They went out happily, played together like a normal child. The mother came back home and saw that. She happily smiled. The boy saw her coming out and ran to her. They hugged each other. Mom was much better. She told her son that when seeing his hair, she knew that she would certainly be better. Then, they gradually settled down. Everyone lived in harmony. The mother often took her son out. Everything went well. In the end, they came back to the room they were locked in. For the last time the boy came in, he didn't recognize that room.
Has it gotten shrinked?
No, that's because he grew up. The boy said goodbye to the furnitures.
Bye, plant. Bye, chair number 1. Bye, chair number 2.
He also told Mom to say goodbye. The mother whispered, goodbye. They've escaped from hell. Not only that room, but also a room in their souls. Inside each of us, there's always a room that locked our soul in. We must be stronger to get out of it. Like Grandma once said, no one could become stronger by themselves. We should help each other. With support, we would be much stronger.